I bought my 8.6 7 years ago, and I have a lot to say about the car. I bought this car brand new in 2018, and in 2012 when the car first came out, I knew I had to have it. I always knew that I wanted the 8.6, but the 8.6 holds a special place in my heart, and here's why. In 2018, I went to Japan with my family, where I went to the Toyota headquarters, and I also went to the Gazoo Racing factory, where I got to first find out about Toyota GR. And at the time, I didn't even really know what GR was, and now it's pretty crazy because I own a GR car, but at the time I had no idea what GR was. I only knew that Toyota had TRD. While I was in Japan, I noticed that TRD made parts for the 8.6 that we did not get in the US. I'm a huge fan of the OEM plus look on a car, so when I saw these TRD parts, I really wanted them. Japan gets a lot of goodies for their cars that we just don't get offered here in the US, so I got to sit in the 8.6 GR, which at the time was an 8.6 with all of the GR factory option parts on it. Now in the US, you can get the GR 8.6, but that car is a little bit different than mine because that's just the new version of the GT 8.6, but at the time, this was the GT 8.6 GR. I saw the car and I knew I had to have it, so when I came home from that trip to Japan, I found the perfect 8.6 for me, which is my 8.6 base. I actually wasn't picky at all. I just wanted a black base model 8.6, so that way I could put all the TRD option parts onto it. Before I bought the 8.6, I actually drew this photo of it so that I could envision my end goal with the car, and I think it's safe to say I got pretty close to it. I keep it in my room because it means a lot to me, and there's actually a sneak peek of the next mod for the 8.6. My goal with the car was to go OEM plus, so here's all the mods that I've done to the car. Most obvious, you can see the Dandelion Yellow wrap. I wanted to get a black painted car from the factory because I actually left my roof black. So my roof is the original black painted color that the car came with, and I wanted to make sure that my door jambs were going to be black, and then also the rest of the car would just be easier to wrap if it's black. I threw on the TRD front lip, which has integrated LEDs, and it looks super cool at night. And then I also did the TRD side skirts, the TRD aero fins, which these I think are such a nice touch. They're actually painted in the OEM black, so they match perfectly with my roof. And then I also did the TRD spoiler, which I think is just such a nice OEM plus piece and really makes the rear of the car look a lot better. I'm not the biggest fan of loud cars, so I threw a valved system on the car. This is the X-Force catback. Here's a listen. Then I wanted to get the fitment dialed, so I threw the car on some Fortunato coilovers, and I actually really like this fitment. I wanted a small, like 1 to 2 finger gap, and then also I have these Titan 7 TS5 wheels. They're an 18 by 9.5 plus 40, and the tires are 255 35 18. I wanted fitment that was a good blend of functional but also still looked good, so the car isn't much lower than stock, but I was able to fit a wider tire and it doesn't rub, which is super important. I actually love this look. I don't really like lowered cars. As you can tell, maybe with my GR Corolla, I actually want to lift that car in the future, so I think a nice gap is pretty nice, and this is actually not much lower than stock, so driving it over speed bumps, it doesn't scrape. It feels super nice on the track, on the street. It's just a nice overall comfortable setup. I'm running -1.5 degrees of camber in the front and then -1 degree in the rear. This is what I found to just be the best for my driving style. Under the hood, unfortunately, there is no turbo. There's actually nothing done to the engine. There's just a strut brace, and then you can also see the top hats of the Fortunato coilovers. For the interior, I've left it stock. All I have is an Alcantara steering wheel to go along with the Alcantara on the dashboard, and then also the Alcantara on the doors. Let's go take it for a drive, and I'll give you my 7-year review on the 8.6. When I first got the 8.6, I originally wanted it because I thought it looked great, and I quickly realized just how good the handling is in this car, and that's now one of my favorite parts about it. I really wanted to wide body this car and like stance it out when I first got it, but I realized the handling on this car is just so good, I could never ruin it. I only want to make it better. So my mentality with this car was I always wanted to go OEM plus with it. So I wanted a car that felt like OEM, like the factory could release this car, but it was just a special version of that. I think if you really take this car and drive it where it was meant to be driven, you'll have a fun time with it. There's really no complaints with the way that this car handles. It's a near 50-50 weight distribution. When you're sliding it, it kicks out so effortlessly, and you really know when it's gonna kick out too, because it's not like it surprises you and just comes out of nowhere. Like, the car communicates with you very well, and you feel it in the steering. My mentality with driving a car hard is that if you're gonna drive a car hard, you need to take care of it just as much. So I've done my oil changes at every 3,000 miles. I know that might seem like a little bit too frequent, but if you're doing a lot of track days and a lot of drifting, you actually might want to do oil changes every track day. Sometimes I even do it. If it was a really hard track day, I'll do an oil change before and after the track day just to play it safe. I know it might be too much, but I don't want to risk my motor blowing up the way my transmission is blowing up. So that brings me on to my next topic. My transmission is on its way out. I've been drifting this car enough, and I think automatics aren't really the best setup for drifting. So the car is slipping a lot when I try to go through gears. Just what it sounds like when you try to shift this car fast at a high RPM, it's not pretty. So I'm in second gear, I'm gonna floor it. That's it going into third gear. Fourth kind of went in normal, but as I drive the car more and I heat it up, it gets only worse and worse. No, this car is so messed up. I just tried going first to second and then second to third, and it just can't find the gear. Like it doesn't know what it's doing. So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that the car works. You know, it still drives even though the transmission's going out. When the transmission is working, it should shift something like this. So right now, I can still get it to shift normally. I just have to be very light on the throttle, and it takes like a few seconds after you hit the paddle for it to actually shift. But I honestly blame this more on me than the car, just because I drive the car so hard. But at the same time, at 57,000 miles, should a transmission be going out? It still drives. You know, obviously I'm driving the car right now, so I'm not too mad, but you know, it sucks. But that leads me to something more positive, is that now that the automatic is on its way out, we can manual swap this car. And I don't really want to change this car up too much, but I think a manual would make the car a lot more fun to drive because it's a driver's car. You want to be able to enjoy it, you want to have fun with it, and I think that's what makes it so fun, is that you actually get to drive the car. Why do I want an automatic to do it for me? That's no fun. I actually really like the engine in this car. I know a lot of people say like, oh, it only has 200 horsepower and 155 foot-pounds of torque. That's literally less torque than a drill. Guys, it's okay. A car that weighs 2,800 pounds does not need 1,000 horsepower. 200 is plenty, and I'll tell you why. When you're going around a turn and you can be full throttle in the car, it feels awesome. What's important to me is how the chassis is shaped, how balanced it feels. That's what really makes a car feel good to me, and that's what I care about as a driver. For someone else, it could be straight line speed. So for them, they wouldn't like a car like this. But for me, I do not care about straight line speed. In fact, I don't get much enjoyment out of flooring a car and then feeling yourself get pushed back. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's not really what I'm chasing. I'm chasing a car that handles well, that feels good, and is fun to drive. And for me, that's the 8.6. So is it still worth it to buy this car in 2025? I actually strongly and confidently would say yes, because I've gone on Facebook Marketplace and I see these cars selling for under $10,000, which is crazy. And at the time of recording this video, I think that's a phenomenal deal. You're getting a super fun car to drive, it handles awesome, and you can pick one up with like 100,000 miles on Facebook Marketplace for like 10 grand, which is a crazy deal. When I bought the car brand new, I think I got it for a pretty good price. I got it for $26,900 out the door. MSRP on this car was $28,500, so you know, a few $1,000s off of MSRP is pretty nice, and I can't complain about that. But since these cars are getting a lot cheaper now to buy secondhand, I almost want to get another one and do like a rally build or like a pro drift car, like something more serious than what I've done with this car, because my mentality was just an OEM plus build. This is exactly what I wanted out of it, and I think once we do the manual, it'll be awesome and good to go. But this car has so much potential that I almost feel bad not using it. So how cool would it be to turn this into a legit drift car? But since I really like rally cars, I feel like I would more so want to turn one into a rally car, just because it's like, it's unique, it's weird. Like, why would you rally an FR-S? Doesn't make sense, but I think that's what would make it really fun. So who knows, maybe one day on the channel we'll see a lifted rally built FR-S. Comment down below if you'd want to see that. My biggest complaint though with this car is the road noise. It is just too much. This car just handles so well around turns. It's truly a fun car to drive, and on track, it's even better. It's just so well balanced. I love it. So after 7 years of owning the 8.6, my conclusion is this is an awesome car and it's super, super fun to drive. I almost want to get like 10 of these things and just build each one differently. But I've had a lot of fun owning this car, and we're not done with it. We definitely have more plans with it. Like I said, the manual swap, it's got to happen one day. I have a big brake kit coming for the car, so lots of fun stuff in the future. But if you enjoyed this video and want to see others just like it, please do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.